Hey everyone, it's Nixie, and today we got all the cards for the next set heavy hitters. This is the most warrior cards that we got since WTR, and it's going to be amazing to be playing Dory now. Whether you are playing Downblade, or dual wielding, or even grinding people down with Decimator, there are cards for each archetype and will definitely change up people's builds. So let's review the cards that we got, and I'll give you my opinion on if it gets Nixie's thumbs up, or thumbs down, or something in between. And before we start, I want to again say thanks to you for watching my videos, as well as special thanks to my Patreons who are supporting me. Really thankful for all of your support and encouragement. So with that, let's get into it. First, we got Draw Swords, which is pretty much Sharpened Steel but with extra steps, costs 3, and gives your next warrior attack a buff. And you get to draw a card. So the main benefit is that you get to draw a card, which helps out Kasai's ability to be able to swing weapons for free, and doesn't really do much for us. So I'd rather play Sharpened Steel than this, and I don't think you need 2 sets of Sharpened Steels, and this is like a maybe as good as a Sharpened Steel, so I don't really see this being used. So this one just gets a thumbs down. Next is Edge Ahead. This non-attack action costs 1 and buffs our next warrior attack and lets us wager an agility. It is a bummer that it's not a reaction, but it does force blocks because agility for Downblade and dual wields are scary, but not as great with Decimator. You probably want to hold a card when this is played to bluff a reaction to force overblocks. So overall, I think this gets a soft thumbs up from me. I don't think I'll personally play it, but others might find this pretty useful. Next is Engage Swiftblade, another non-attack action that costs 1 and buffs, but this one says that if it's defended by an attack action, it gets go again. That's pretty cool. Forces opponents to not want to block this, so it could be decent with Downblade because if you have already some counters and this is played, the opponent may not want to block because it will give you that go again, and then if you go over, then you can swing and get another counter. But it does require an attack action for the trigger, so not great into heroes that don't play that many attack actions. This card is probably not as great in dual wields or Decimator because it's just damage, so most people would not block it, and for dual wields you really want to be swinging twice, so relying on this to get that go again might be dicey. So this one is another soft thumbs up. Next we have Holden, which is similar to Edge Ahead, but you wager a Vigor instead of agility. Vigor isn't that huge for Downblade or dual wields, but could see some use in Decimator. It does make Decimator have an on hit, and that 1 cost reduction could help paying for something like Cleave or Warrior's Valor or Steelbit Supremacy, so I could see some use there. But if you don't have a reaction, which Decimator lists are kind of light on, then you can give the opponent the Vigor instead. So because of that, I'm gonna say it's a slight thumbs down. It's not that great, but maybe I'm wrong. But at the moment, I'll say a slight thumbs down. Next is Commanding Performance. This is the best non-attack action we got this set. It's a 1 cost and pumps the next warrior attack and says when this is defended by 1 or more attack action cards, destroy a card in the defending hero's arsenal. That's crazy, right? Because as soon as the opponent blocks with an attack action card, their arsenal is destroyed. It doesn't even get to the reaction step. So even if they have like a defense reaction in arsenal, they can't have a chance to play it. It just gets destroyed. So this like really hurts heroes like Guardians, Ninjas, Brutes, and Mechs. This card is just straight amazing. Probably forces opponents to just take the hit when you play this, or forces a non-attack action card to be used to block, and then the D-react from the arsenal to cover the hit. So, they're very limited on what they could use to block out an attack. This actually combos very well with Emboldened Blade because the Emboldened Blade forces people to be afraid of putting D-reacts in their arsenal. So they usually put something like a power card in the arsenal. But if you play this instead, now they can't block at all because their power card that's in the arsenal gets destroyed if they do. So it gets them really stuck in a hard place. This card can be used in all builds for Dory, so I'm gonna give this a solid 2 thumbs up. So that's gonna be setting the bar for the set. Okay, next we have Lead with Speed. This one is another non-attack action card, costs 1, buffs and gives an agility token. When you compare it to like something like commanding performance, it really doesn't do much, you know, but still, getting agility token is pretty nice. But yeah, I don't think this is that good. Maybe I'm just comparing to commanding performance, but I'm just not that impressed. But I don't know, maybe just makes agility for next turn could be good. Maybe it's okay in downblade, probably better in dual wields, not needed in decimator. So I'll say it's a soft thumbs up. Probably won't see that much use though. Next card is something similar, Lead with Heart. Next attack gets a buff and makes a Vigor token. Costs 1. So similar to the previous card, but instead it makes a Vigor token. But Vigor isn't as important for downblades or dual wields, and it's okay in decimator. But I'm gonna say this one's also gonna be a soft thumbs down, sort of like what we had with Holden, because it's just not that great at a 1 cost or 3 pump for decimator. You want something better like Cleave, which is a 1 for 4. So yeah, I don't think it's as good. Alright, let's see. Next, we're gonna move into reactions. Agile Engagement is a 1 cost reaction that pumps a warrior attack, and if it's defended by an attack action, then it makes an agility. So I think this reaction is pretty good. You could always play it, and the conditional agility that you could get from it being used when it's blocked with an attack action is very good. I would say if you compare it to something like Alpha Blood, that's a 1 cost 3, and then if you reprise is triggered, it gets the +1. This is actually better, because let's say Alpha Blood is played, it gets stuffed. Even though reprise are triggered, you get the +1 bonus. But since it was stuffed, you can't outswing again, and so you pretty much lose that +1. But here, if an attack action was used to block, even if your current attack is blocked out and you can't do anything, you still make the agility token, so it's good for the next turn. So this helps with the setup too. So I think because of that, I think it's pretty good in downblades, pretty good in dual wielding too. Just having agility always is very nice for that. Probably not good in decimator because you don't want agility. So this gets a solid thumbs up for me. Next is Vigorous Engagement, which is similar to the Agile but gives Vigor instead. This is not as good as Agile because that 1 cost reduction isn't amazing for, again, downblade and dual wields, and is okay in decimator, but you know, not really needed. You want a better rate for 1 for 3s. So I'll say again, this gets a thumbs down. Next we have Shift the Tide of Battle, a 0 cost reaction that gives the warrior attack with power greater than its base go again. And the next time an opposing hero is dealt damage this turn, create an agility token. So yeah, this card is nuts. So first of all, it's any warrior attack. So you can use it on a weapon swing or a warrior attack action card to give it go again, as long as it was buffed. So that's amazing. And not only do you give the attack go again, but also an agility token if they take any damage for the whole turn. So the threat lasts the whole time. That's, you know, very threatening. So not only do you get go again now, but if you do end up even hitting them anytime during the whole turn, you get another go again next turn. So this is a 0 cost like Glint too. So, I mean, there's so many benefits of this card. Only downside is that it doesn't naturally pump your current attack and has that threshold that has to be greater than its base. But it's pretty easily to be achieved. Let's say with like singing into this, now your weapon attack is buffed, so you can play this. So you don't have to use Glint 0 cost reactions to play after getting singing. Very nice, very, very nice. This will definitely see use in Downblade and dual wields, but not in Decimator, but that's fine. This one also gets a 2 solid thumbs up from me. Only thing is that in Downblade, I might only run 2 of this because it doesn't naturally have that pump. So if the attack is stuffed, they can't use that go again, and you won't be able to trigger the agility token because, you know, if you can't swing again, then you're never going to be hitting, so it's kind of wasted. So because of that, probably 2, but dual wields, definitely 3. Next is Cut the Deck. A 1-cost reaction that if it's defended by an attack action card, you draw a card, then put a card from your hand or arsenal on the bottom of the deck. That's pretty strong, in that you can filter your arsenal with this and draw. Initially, this was like, oh yeah, I would love to do that, but you can't put it on top of your deck, which kind of sucks, because that's what Stroke can do. You can like fix your hand. It has to go to the bottom. But I think it's still stronger than Stroke. But at the same time, no one's really running Stroke, so I don't think this sees play even in Downblade or dual wields. Most likely not Decimator. So because of that, I'm gonna give it a slight thumbs down. Maybe you'll see some use later on. Maybe there's some better builds you could do with some filtering and things like that. But you know, maybe there'll be a deck that uses Eye with Stroke and maybe something like Unified Decree that plays with the top of your card. I don't know. There's potential, but at the moment, slight thumbs down. And then we're gonna skip the cards we can't play in Dory and go to Goblet of Bloodrun Wine. Yeah, this is a very interesting card. Are we gonna get vampires in the future? Or maybe Minerva is gonna become a vampire. That'd be funny. But yeah, this card is a non-attack action, costs 0 and creates an agility and vigor. And it's a blue, so what's not to like? I guess the 2-block, right? 2-block kind of sucks. But, you know, setting up for next turn is very nice. When I first saw this, I was pretty happy and excited about it, but looking at it more, and Downblade seems okay, but usually you rather be blocking or do stuff on your current turn to, you know, do damage and things like that, so I don't see it being super strong. Maybe I'll play a 1-of, but you might just get cut for other reactions or some other go-again sources. In duels, I could see this being used more often, but probably still just okay, and Decimator doesn't want to use this. So this one's a borderline slightly thumbs up, I guess, but it could be also slight thumbs down that doesn't even see that much play. We'll have to see. Okay, next is our legendary, Grains of Blood Spill, which says whenever a weapon you attack control hits, you may pay 1. If you do, create a Vigor token. I'm planning to make a separate video digging deeper into this and comparing it to Courage and Tunic after more testing and to get a better understanding of it. But at the moment, I still think it's pretty strong just reading it. It allows you to save a resource for the next turn whenever a weapon hits, so even with like Downblade, you could always threaten this with just like a blue, and if they don't block it, then you get a Vigor token for next turn, so your next turn gets even more explosive. And even with Downblade, you could end up getting 2 weapon swings that hit, so you get 2 Vigor for next turn, so you kind of like have an energy potion for next turn, which is amazing. It's pretty much as good as Courage, right? Getting 2 resources with the Courage turn. Sometimes you get 3, but most of the time 2. And then in dual wields, this is probably really amazing because you're gonna get, you know, 1, 2, 3 hits in. You can pay for it. Vigor tokens each time. It does make your next moves predictable, but with dual wielding, you're just doing more damage instead of like a lot of reactions. So I think it's okay. So that's strong there. And then in Decimator, I thought could use this because it creates an on-hit situation, which forces the opponent to be like, oh, I don't want it to hit. Then they could get this Vigor token. But after I thought about it more, it takes 1 whole card to swing a Decimator with a blue. And if it hits, you have to pitch a whole card to get just 1 Vigor token. When that 1 card instead could have maybe saved you 3 health when it was used to block. So that's not that amazing. And also, he most likely just wants to be running Tunic and Decimator most of the time to just pay for those shunts. Unless, I guess, maybe you can be very aggressive because you can't fatigue out very aggro wide decks. I think Tunic is most of the time the play here for Decimator. So, probably won't be used there. But from my initial feelings on this, yeah, Dawnblade and I think Dual Wields for sure wants to use this. So this gets another solid 2 thumbs up from me. I'm very excited for this chest. Alright, next I'm going to skip these draft equipments and go to Blade Flurry, which pretty much is a 0 cost 4 attack reaction with 3 block and doesn't have any conditional thing to use it like Reprise. Yeah, this card is just really strong. We had Slice and Dice, which was also a 0 for 4, but that was a non-attack action card, so Dawnblade doesn't want to use it. And since this is a reaction, Dawnblade just gets very scary with this. A 0 cost 2 pump with no condition already is pretty strong. So let's say if the opponent sees you swing for 3, and you play a Glint, and they play the D-React for 4 from Arsenal, you could just still play this to go up to 5. So it goes over that 4 block defense reaction. That's huge. And obviously, this is going to be very amazing Dual Wields. Decimator doesn't care, but that's fine. This reaction is just really strong. I give this another 2 solid thumbs up. It's definitely a 3 of in Dawnblade and Dual Wields. I just need to find room to fit these 3. Next, we have Agile Engagement, a 2 cost reaction that says it can be only used if an attack action card is defending this chain link. The target attack gets buffed for 5. So that's actually really strong. A 5 power is always the magic number you want to be at because it goes over the 4 block defense reactions. So this is actually as strong as Overpower and costs 1 less. But it does have a really hard requirement of it needs to be blocked by an attack action to be used. So that's pretty restricting. But at the same time, it's pretty amazing because this says target attack gets the buff, not warrior target, just any target. So that means that we could use it on something like Command and Conquer. So come on, Conquer for 2, and then pay 2 to come in for +5. So 11 attack CNC. Oh, that's so scary. That's really crazy. I might finally be able to replace my blue pummel that I run. I know others might not find this card that amazing, but I think the mind games with this card will be so strong. Because of that, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Can't wait to see people flinch when I play this with a CNC pitching a blue with 1 resource floating, the 1 Tunic resource up. It's like, do I have the Fatal Engagement? Are you gonna block it? What are you gonna do? So I'm excited for this card. Probably run maybe a yellow or blue, probably not the red. Then we have Take the Upper Hand. This one's a 0 cost reaction, pump, but requires something to be wagered. But this also says target attack gets a buff, so you could play this on anything too. That's pretty neat. It does require another card to create a wager, but that's doable. I just don't see it being used in Dawnblade or Dual Wields, but maybe Decimator if they run those non-attack actions that creates a wager situation. So just having a 0 cost pump on anything is pretty scary, so I'll say this is a soft thumbs up for me. Then we have Take It on the Chin, which is a 0 cost instant that says next time you'll be dealt damage, this turn prevent 2. And if you do, create an agility. So yeah, this doesn't seem worth it. Even if you do make the agility token, I'd rather just pay 1 to play an Oasis instead. So I don't see it being used, so this gets a thumbs down. Next we have Run Into Trouble is a 3 block card that says when this defends, if you control an agility token, deal 1 damage. So it's pretty cool, another way like Shunt to deal 1 damage on opponent's turn. So that's pretty neat. But you don't really want to be running this, I think, in Dawnblade or Dual Wields, because even though you might be having that agility, you'd rather be seeing something that's more offensive than defensive, especially just at 3 block. And it's a red, so I don't think it's useful there. And Decimator doesn't want to make agility, so this gets a thumbs down. Next test of agility is now this time this is a 4-block card, but you end up clashing, and if you win, you make the agility. But what's the chances of us winning in a clash situation with the current types of deck we have? It's pretty low. Even with Decimator that likes to block, a 4-block is nice, but you're not going to use the agility, so I don't think it's useful. And because of that, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Double down. This costs 2, but you could destroy gold rather than pay the cost. The next attack that wagers this turn gets +3 and overpower. And if hero would create 1 or more tokens from a wager, instead they create that many +1 of each of those tokens. A lot of words, a lot of cool things, but you know, gold's not that useful for Dory unless you're running cash in, which I could see in some builds, maybe more likely in dual wheels that wants to be aggressive, but at the same time not really. I don't really see it being used. I don't think it's good, so I don't see a big use for this for us. Because of that, I'm gonna give this also another thumbs down. Slap Happy. Very similar to Take It to the Chin, but instead you make Vigor. Still not as good. I'd rather have Oasis, so this gets a thumbs down. Hardy Block is a 3-block that when it defends, you control a Vigor, you gain 1 health. That's pretty cool, you gain a health, but not sure how often you're gonna have Vigor token and want to be blocking to just gain 1 health. So I'm gonna give this another thumbs down. Test of Vigor. When this defends, clash with the attacking hero and the winner gets the Vigor token. So since it clashes, it's not that usable in Downblade or dual wheels at the moment. And then Decimator, just because it's a 4-block and it could make the Vigor, it could be useful. Just not sure how many attack actions Decimator will want to be running. So even though it's a 4-block, is a red color, and Decimator doesn't want really reds. So because of that, I'm gonna say thumbs down. And Centura we know about, gonna skip. Hot Streak. Now this card is pretty interesting. It's a new 1-cost weapon that attacks for 2, and when this is defended by 1 or more attack action cards, it gets go again this turn. So I think that's pretty strong. Dual wielding could use this very well. And it's very nice for Dory because if the go again is ever triggered, it lasts the whole turn. So if you swing, let's say it gets blocked with attack action card, so it gets go again and you go over it with some pumps, then you could attack with the same weapon again because Dory's ability, and it will already have go again, so they don't have to defend again with attack action. And then, you know, after that, you could swing your third weapon swing with the other sword. So this could allow for 3 weapon swings very easily without using something like Hit and Run. So I think that makes it very strong for dual wield builds. I could see this replacing double Centauri Saber builds. So I'm gonna give this sword a thumbs up. I'll definitely be playing with it myself in a sword dual wield build that I'll maybe try out in the future. Next are these attack action cards. Runner is a 2-cost 6 power that says when this attacks, if it has go again, create an agility token. So you get to have go again next turn for sure. That's pretty strong, but you do need to have a quicken or agility token to make use of its ability. And I don't think you really want to be running these attack actions Downblade. Even like most people don't like CNCs in their Downblade lists. I like it, but I wouldn't replace CNC for this. So you want to see it in Downblade. Dual wields, maybe you'll see it to be able to attack twice with this as well, but probably not. And Decimator, I don't think you'll be using it because you won't have the agility tokens to begin with. So yeah, I don't think this is good, so I'm gonna give this a thumbs down. Next clash of agility is another 2-cost 6 power that when it blocks, it clashes, and the winner makes the agility. I currently don't see us winning clashes that often, so I'm gonna give this a thumbs down. Next, we have Agile Windup, which is a 3-cost 7 power attack, but a 2-block. But it does have a really cool ability to instantly discard this to create an agility token. which is pretty good because it can be used as a popper, as well as creating agility at instant speed, so this helps during turn 0 when you're going second. You could play this on your opponent's turn and make the agility, so you start off with them on your turn, or respond to war monitors. So because of that, it's pretty cool, but I don't think it's that great in Dawnblade. I guess unless Prism becomes very problematic, and even then he probably just wants to be racing. I haven't really figured that new matchup yet. I'll probably have to be testing more. I don't know if you want to play mid-range or just race. I'm guessing you want to race. Maybe it's good into Droma because it's a popper, but I feel that matchup is fine already with Dawnblade. What is nice is that if you do get stuffed on a Dawnblade turn with Go Again, you could play this to attack as a follow-up, just to push more damage. But it does cost 3, which is pretty steep. Might have rather just like block 2 cards instead. Don't want to arsenal this too, because then you can't use this discard ability. And dual wields probably could use this, maybe the yellows at least. And Decimator probably doesn't want to use this because they don't care about agility. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a slight thumbs up. Some use, but not that great. Next, Rising Speed. The 2 cost 5 attack, 2 block, and it's an attack that says if you have drawn, it gets Go Again. Yeah, this is mainly just for Kasai. We're not gonna be drawing that often on a turn, so this gets a thumbs down from me. Next, Wage Agility is a 3 cost 7 power 2 block that says when this attacks, you can wager an agility. At first I thought this kind of sucks, but I forgot we have 0 cost reactions that if we wagered, we could pump any attack. So you can use it on this. Probably not that good in Dawnblade or dual wields. But Decimator, that's running more wagers and having these big attacks, might see some use. So I think I could see it useful there. But you're not gonna be wanting agility in Decimator, so probably later on we'll see the other one with Vigor. And that might be useful, but for now, for this one, it's going to be a thumbs down because Decimator doesn't want agility. And I'm going to skip this and go to Clash of Vigor. So this is a 2 cost 6 power 3 block that when it used to defend, it clashes and winner gets the Vigor token. Same as Clash of Agility, I just don't see us winning any clashes anytime soon, so this gets a thumbs down. Rising Energy. Interesting card, right? 2 cost 6 power, 2 block. That says if you have drawn a card, this costs 1 less. Pretty strong. At 1 could be a 1 for 6, but I think this is more of a Kasai card again because of the draw ability to turn on her ability to swing for free. So I don't see it being used for us. So this is a thumbs down. And then Vigorous Windup is a 3 cost 7 attack for 2 block. So similar to Agile one that makes Vigor at instant speed. Dawnblade and dual wields don't really care about Vigor, and Decimator does care a bit about Vigor, not that much though. But the 2 block is pretty detrimental for Decimator. They'd rather have 3 blocks or even more. So I'm gonna say that this is a no-go and say that probably a thumbs down on this. Then we have Wage Vigor, which is a 3 cost 7 attack, 2 block, and can wager for a Vigor token. So this one I could see use in Decimator because of the 0 cost pump that can be used on wagered attacks, but not going to see use in Dawnblade and dual wields, so I guess it's a slight thumbs up. But that 2 block is pretty cruddy for Decimators to be using, so maybe it's a thumbs down. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna just say thumbs up because of the potential upside. This is gonna be, if it's a red, you're gonna pitch a blue, it's coming for 7, and then you could pump it with that 1 reaction for another 3. So that's 2 cards played, 1 pitched for 10 damage, and you get to maybe get the Vigor token. That could be pretty good, but you do need to make a deck for this, the Decimators. So I'll just say a slight thumbs up for now. We'll see. And then we have another weapon, Harry Blade, but this one's more of a limited weapon. It's pretty cool that you could block with it on weapon attacks, but what sucks is that it's blade break, so just you can only block with it once. So yeah, I don't see it being used in constructed at all. Most likely just a limited card. So yeah, that was my review of the warrior cards that Dory can use. We got some solid cards, a few double thumbs up, some just thumbs up, and a few other cards that may be playable. Overall, I think this set will definitely make Dory a lot stronger and versatile. I'm pretty sure we'll see a lot more Dorys coming up in the next meta. So be sure to be nice to them and send them my way if they want to see some Dory strategies and gameplay. I'll be happy to help them. So I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.